Hello folks, welcome back to another lesson. This one is going out for Scott Eurista over at Patreon. Thanks indeed for your support, sir. He wanted to know what Mike was up to in Do the Evolution. It's not a great deal different to what Stone's doing. The tone's very different, but there's a few differences, so we're going to dive into that. So we're in standard tuning. I am in 4th position on my strats. You get that. You get that twangy stuff going on. No pedals in this one. I'm just using my Morgan MVP 66 with the brightness knob pulled out to make it a bit extra twangy. So let's dive in, shall we? The guitar part comes in on the 4 and, okay? So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, that hangs over then into the next bar for an 8th note. And then you play the rest of the riff. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Helps sometimes to do a little down whack to keep yourself in time on the 4th beat. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, like that. But that should make it a bit easier to know where you are. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, it sounds like he's playing, you know, you'll hear quite a lot of open strings. That might be subtly different to what Stone's playing. I think Stone just plays like the lower sort of 3 strings, but with Mike's twangy setting, you really hear those open strings, right? So, you're going to play. Note I'm muting the 5th string. That does not ring out. A little bit of meat off the back of my 3rd finger does that. The rest are open. Then with an upstroke, you go, and here I'm muting the E string, sort of, with the tip of my 1st finger, okay? But I'm trying not to hit it as well when I strum up. But you want those 3, to ring out, okay? So that's your upstroke. Back to the 1st one, back to the 2nd one, then you go up to the 10th fret. Again, playing all 4, okay? Then you do a double stop, like that, okay? No open strings there. So slowly you'd have 3, 4. Like that, okay? So just practice that until you get it down. Here, note my thumb comes over the top here to get that double stop. And it helps deaden the low E as well. Also, I'm muting the A string with the tip of my 1st finger there. That way I don't have to worry too much about my strumming. So there's quite a lot going on with your left hand in terms of the strings that aren't being played, okay? You do that basically 8 times. On the 8th time, it's going to play. You go to this. And I wasn't sure if this G string is open. I think it's open throughout, so I've tabbed it that way. You could just focus on the low 3. I think Stone plays. I think he plays down here, so let's say Mike's going to play up here, right? And I do hear that occasionally, so I'm just going to put it in every time. So you'd have. Slide up and then back in again for another sort of 6 times. We have 8th fret, 3, 4. So down, up, down, down, up, down. 3, 4. Down. 2 upstrokes. Down 1 more fret. You then go back into this riff again. And again, around. Okay, and then 1 more time. You stop there, and then Stone's riff comes in, right? With this there's actually 2 other guitar parts here. If you count 7 bars, and then on the 8th bar, 1, 2, 3. You got that going on, right? 4 times. And then you extend that to the sort of D5 shape. Like that, okay? So that's all that guitar plays, but I would concentrate on what I think Mike plays mostly. So you'd have 5 bars, and then you've got this. When you let that ring out. So there's a little rake there. It's a D5 shape. So you've got, it's actually a D sus2, isn't it? So you'd have, so a very deliberate rake down of the pick there. 2, 3, 4, 1. The second time round. 2, 3, 4, 1. And then you go into this part, right? You could add a little bit of gain there. That's the 1991 there. So you could put a bit on there if you wanted to, but you're going to play 2, 3, 4. So you have 2 bars, but at the end of the second bar, you're going to do a little stab. So you'd have. And then the next part is just. Back into that. All right, so pretty straightforward. You're just padding on that D5. Okay, so again, it's 2 bars of, and then the third bar is all your fingers off, and then you go back. Into that again, right? This time you play it 4 times. And then it's that middle 8 type choir bit, right? You've got a few little noodly parts. I think Mike's just playing this here. 3, 4. Like that, okay? And then I think it goes back into Stone's part. And again, we're doing. Another time round. That hangs on for a bar and 3 beats. So that'll be 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you got that going on. So you're basically just hanging on the 3rd fret there. 2 before the beat, and then 3 bars of. Subtle different fill here we go. And then you've got. And then straight in with. And back to that. Another 8 times around the main riff. 8th time you go into. And no, I'm tabbing all of the sort of subtleties he puts in because this is slightly different rhythmically. So, you know, you can make note of that if you want. And then we're into the outro. And then you'll hear this come in, right? Okay, you'll hear 1, while this is being played. You'll hear that, right? I think it's an overdub while that bit's being played. You could combine it quite easily. It just takes a little bit of remembering to take your little finger off. So you'd have... Okay, so leave your little finger on the 10th fret there. Then you take it off. So that's a little challenge. See if you can get this going on, right? So 3, 4. It just fades out. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.